Today's podcast is brought to you by drinkers like you. To help support the show, visit patreon.com/haveadrinkshow. I think we've forgotten what the show is about. It's called Have a Drink, not Have Some Eggs, although it does sound tasty. Today we're talking about egg drinks. And no, we aren't drinking raw eggs. Instead, we're going to talk about how you can incorporate eggs into your drinks. So grab some nog or maybe some sort of fizz and join us as we have a drink. Welcome to Have a Drink, the show where you learn along with us about what you drink. I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier.
I'm Christopher Walker.
And I'm Casey Price.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Thank you.
When's the last time they did that bit? Was it like 20 years ago?
Isn't the guy who does Dr. Nick dead?
Is he? Who did Dr. Nick?
I don't remember. I thought they discontinued the character for some reason.
I mean, Hank Azaria has taken over like 90% of the cast.
Yeah.
All right. We've got to solve this. Is Dr. Nick dead?
Yep.
Nick Simpson.
Simpsons, Dr. Nick.
Well, we're not even,
We're
In the intro.
not even a full minute in, I feel like.
yeah, sorry. That's my bad. I think he died in the movie is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does the goodbye, everybody.
Everybody. Yeah.
And they were like, no, he's dead.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Hi.
what's everybody been up to?
Oh, nothing much.
No upcoming plans of any kind?
No, I can't imagine what would give you that impression.
For audio listeners, Chris is sitting there with a jack-o'-lantern Mickey Mouse hat and a flashing Mickey Mouse Halloween-themed necklace.
And you're forgetting my Haunted Mansion Hawaiian shirt and my matching Haunted Mansion.
The shirt's a little difficult for me to pick out from this. The others are kind of overpowering the image.
My epilepsy.
My matching magic band that has the Hatbox Ghost on it. I'm not excited for anything.
No.
Couldn't be anything coming up. Oh yeah, and then I was trying to show you during the intro. I can peel open the brain, and it's Chip and Dale.
Oh, that's cool.
I was upset this year because there's nothing like this. Like there are these crap little vinyl headbands instead of Mickey ears. It's just two little pumpkins. And I was like, that sucks. Like, let's break out our Mickey ears from a decade ago. They don't fit. I mean, look at it on my head.
But they fit in it, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys you're heading on down to Disney next week, looking for
Have ourselves fun.
Heading on down to Florida.
Yeah, this time next week, we will probably be in Florida State.
We won't, but
be wasting away again in Margaritaville.
Really?
This time in a week exactly, I'll probably be getting up and getting the car ready for us to head out of Tennessee.
Are you all driving overnight?
Yes.
Oh.
That's why when we get to the Halloween party, my first stop is going to be Joffrey's for a cold brew pumpkin coffee.
Why Game of Thrones is not owned by Disney?
It's a weird Floridian coffee chain. I don't know,
It's
man.
It's a weird chain to decide to pick up for. It's like, yeah, no, they're just big Game of Thrones fans, and they picked the character everyone hates the most.
Disney had it first.
Didn't he?
I did pick up some Joffrey's Fall Blend coffee for the room.
Just picturing a little blonde-headed king screaming about killing people.
I mean, we'll have free coffee in there.
I know, but like, it'll only last so long.
We tell them we need another bag. Sir, this is your third bag this morning. Yeah, we drink a lot of coffee.
Have you walked these parks?
Do you even filter your liver? Come on.
I gotta be regular.
Do you know how much I drink?
Oh, one of my bosses was talking about having a little bourbon coffee to me while we were discussing something, and someone else was on the line and just went, "When are you drinking bourbon coffee? You know, like a Saturday or a Sunday? Sunday before church. Sometimes it helps."
That's fair.
That's what you need.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, I'm just curious if I guess the Disney trip has consumed all.
Yes.
Pretty much.
My boss knows don't ask me for crap right now. I'm checked out.
Bit of the itis.
I spent this past Friday sending messages to everybody. Hey, I'm going to be gone the week after next. Are you good covering for me? Because I'm deleting every work app off of my phone.
Yeah, I purposely, like, we use Teams at work. I purposely don't have it on my phone right now until like I am like forced to, as like I need to be in touch for something. I'm like, no, I need to separate because otherwise I will not stop working.
And so somehow I forgot until the cat just like tickled my foot. We got the cats fixed yesterday.
That's really what I was thinking of, and I was like, oh, well, we're not going to talk about. It's a very private matter for your cats, so about their privates.
Yes, as they roll over and show you their scars or the
She did.
actual like open wounds. Well, they're
Is
not
she
open.
okay?
I don't know where she is.
She did.
She's sitting over here on the floor, staring off at nothing because these cats are high as it gets. It took them a full 24 hours to figure out how to drink water again.
Yeah.
They're not low.
Yeah, they are definitely not low. It's been a trip to watch them. They're just like rubbing on everything. Oh, it feels great. Oh, man.
I made this joke when you were first telling me about this, but I'm just picturing your cat sitting there like, pause. They can touch everything but themselves. Oh, wait.
But they were so scared of everything at first. It took them forever to come back out of their little crate. And I think they slept in it last night because we just like left it open. And that's like the only place they felt safe because it's where they like regained consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And it was strange when I discovered our cats are just glued together. Like they just literally super glued the cats together.
I mean, it cuts down on them needing to like have you come back in and have them like remove stitches.
Yeah. I like how Brittany, she's like, I thought they said sutures, but she's like, I think they said glutures. Was that it?
I'm pretty sure.
Glutures sounds dirty.
It really does.
Oh, I was working my glutures.
All up in them glutures.
Gah.
Clap them glutures. Oh, but the cats they've just been high, and it's been hilarious to watch and kind of infuriating because it's them relearning to drink water has not been a clean thing because like they're just like dipping their paws in the water and trying to bring it to their mouth, and it's like they forgot they have tongues. And then one of them just literally laid his face in there and started opening and closing his mouth.
Just Pac-Man and water in.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
This is how they do it. Sorry.
You know, it's finally this morning that they discovered. Oh, I can just use my tongue and lap this. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, well, this is much more efficient.
All right. Casey, what you been up to?
Well, it has been a very busy week so far.
Well, we saw child labor was involved, but
Yeah. On Labor Day. Was that what we just had? Is that the
Yes.
holiday?
Yeah.
yes.
I took the day, well, I had the day off work and said, oh, this is a great day to go and do something that usually only happens on work days, weekdays for me. And went to Lincoln County produce auction.
Oh,
So if you've ever been to a produce auction, or if you haven't, I guess, it's where your local mom and pop grocery stores go to buy the produce that they get a lot of times. So instead of like Walmart coming in on a giant 18-wheeler, these people go down in, box trucks or whatever, load up a couple pallets of fruit, vegetables, whatever, and bring it back. And that's what they use for the month or the week or however long they need it. Happens Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Good old fruit vegetables.
Yep. So I went down. I was like, awesome. This is an auction. So it gets a little bit like intense in there. We started off over. It's the time of year where, and they're all Amish or Mennonite, technically, probably.
Some old Mennonite woman pulls out a switchblade and just starts stabbing people when they try to outbid her.
There was a pretty hateful Mennonite woman because one like young guy it was his first time, just went and picked up like a bag of apples from a thing and like brought it over like he wanted to buy it like a normal store. And she got a little irate with them over it. That's not how we do it. But so I go in, buy a few mums for the front. There were probably, I don't know, maybe 800 or 900 mums that go through the auction. We buy 3. We get to my
100?
100? 800 or 900. Yeah,
no. You bought 300?
No. We bought just 3 of the mums.
Gotcha.
We go over to the portion that I'm there. I'm looking to get like cheap produce. I want to can. I want to get things going. That's what we've been doing all day is canning. Get things going for storing up food. We get over to that portion of the auction, and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, there's some peppers. I want some peppers. I bid on some peppers. I got like 9 pecks of bell peppers for something like $17. Like, great deal. Like, lots of peppers, pounds of peppers that are in the freezer now because I've sliced them up.
Would you call it a bukkake of peppers?
A bukkake of peppers.
I have a similar. I have a story you reminded me of, but I'll get to it in a minute.
So I'm wanting to make sauce, like tomato sauce, can it, jar it, and then have that for the next few years. So my intent is to buy a couple 100 pounds of tomatoes. So we get up there and we get to one, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to bid on these, and I get in for a good price. I get like $1.20 a pound on first run tomatoes, like like what you would normally get for very top end tomatoes at the supermarket. $1.20 a pound. I'm like, okay, I buy 120 pounds of them. So, or no, 100 pounds of those tomatoes. I'm like, okay, I got enough tomatoes, I think, but maybe I need a few more. Auctioneer's talking fast. We go down a few more lots, and I start bidding again. And I'm like, oh, now I've bought another 300 pounds of tomatoes. And so I'm like, all right, that's a lot of tomatoes. But because I was like, I want to buy, once you bid on it, if you're for the winner, you get to pick like how much you want. And I'm like, okay, give me this many. And the guy's like, it's got to be in 5s. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we end up that I have to buy multiple 25-pound boxes of these tomatoes. 250 pounds of 25-pound boxes, to be perfectly honest. So I'm like, all right, I'm good on tomatoes. I got 350 pounds of tomatoes now, 370 pounds of tomatoes set back. We're good on tomatoes. Been canning tomatoes all day. So now we move on to my next thing, which is potatoes. Now I've got 150 pounds of potatoes that I've got put back because I bought like 5 half bushels.
I thought you were about to say 5 hash browns.
They're big hash browns.
I was gonna say it's a nice plate of hash browns.
We get to the watermelons, which is what I'm there for. Like I'm like I want to go and make a good watermelon beer. I know I need about 20 watermelons to make this watermelon beer. You need one watermelon for every 5 gallons or so. And so we get to the watermelons, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bid on some watermelons. And the guy says 30. That seemed to be like the cut that you could buy. Like the other things was 5 cases or whatever. This seemed to be 30 watermelons. So I thought, okay, 30. That's what I can buy on this one. I know what my price point is and what I can afford and what I need to be at and what cash I brought with me. And so I'm like, okay, let me bid. And so I bid, and I get the watermelons for $3 a piece. And he's like, do you want 1 or 2? And I'm like, oh, I want 30 watermelons. He's like, no, do you want 1 or 2 pallets? So I actually bought 60 watermelons. An entire pallet of watermelons. And we had to fit those suckers in the back of a minivan.
With 2 kids riding on top.
Oh, luckily we did not bring the kids. Like we were like, no, we'll leave the kids back with Grammy and Grandpa. But the wheels on the back of the minivan were into the hubs. You could not see the wheel tops because they were inside the car.
He was really stressing that suspension.
Like, well,
he hits one pothole and the the whole back axle just stays behind.
So I'm gonna go ahead and suggest you get that looked at before you get on the road trying to drive to Orlando.
Oh, it's good now that the watermelons are out of it. But like we probably had, well, the watermelons alone were close to like 1,400 pounds. So just for that, all right, can't take a curb too quick because the back end's going to slide out.
I thought you were Gallagher 4.
I mean, we would have been dead with 350 pounds of boxed tomatoes and 1,400 pounds of watermelons crashing through the front.
They thought you were ready for the worst comedy show, just ready to heckle.
It was very specific.
Just I was talking about throwing, not doing a Gallagher show.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Making sure we were clear.
I'm ready for either. I'm stocked on ponchos.
It's true.
Also, like, you're gonna get sick of tomatoes. I feel like.
I mean, it's gonna last for years.
Yeah, I know, but like,
do you? How often do you get sick of you get sick of fresh cut tomatoes? Then you start frying them. You get sick of fried tomatoes. Gonna move on to spaghetti. Use some tomato sauce. Tired of that? Move on to pizza sauce. Get tired of that? Chili.
Tired of that? Stewed potato. Tomatoes.
Love some like sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah.
I said, that said, I get heartburn just thinking about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It sounds delicious.
Doesn't work for everyone.
I want it to.
That's what today was more or less just juicing all the tomatoes or pulping all the tomatoes and then
injecting testosterone into these tomatoes so they get ripped.
Different juicing.
So how stained are your hands?
I'm pretty good. I got gloves because whenever I worked on my first box, I did like the first day we came back, I did like a 25-pound box just to kind of test things out. And I was like, no, the tomato acid like itches you to death. It like eats your skin away.
Yeah. How stained are your children?
They're pretty good. Like the tomatoes weren't staining bad. I was pretty happy, but like that was pre-cooked tomato stage. So at that stage, you've got really issues.
Well, all right. Yeah, I guess we saw some of the canning or whatever with the picture of you getting ready with your kids. We just went, that's some child labor right there. That's
how we do it.
That's why you have kids.
Let me see if I can I'll send you a stack of some of the tomatoes through the group chat.
Good Lord.
And then that's not
I know, but I'm like looking at those, like, I remember those boxes from like working in cafeterias and food.
And there's the back of the car.
I knew those seats had to be down, but God, the melons are just absurd. Oh my God. And you're ready for a charger.
Yeah.
I have to think like God, if anybody else were to like, I need to know what goes on in people's heads if they see that inside of that. Like, what are these people doing? Like very specific. Like that's a lot of tomatoes and watermelons.
I like
period.
I like the KitchenAid in front of all of them.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like when what was it before the brewery when you were trying your hand at making cider and you're like, well, we're gonna test this juicer's limits, and then you juice
Yes.
however many, like 100 pounds of apples or something through it.
Yep. That's exactly what it
You're
kind
like,
of
no,
seemed like.
you're just like, I just bought this little thing at Walmart, and you're like, we're
Yeah.
putting it in paces.
The first time I've used my brew setup in like 3.5 years was today, and it was to boil tomato sauce down
Mhm. That makes sense.
10 gallons at a time.
Multifunctional.
You don't work on those such small batches anymore. Your
Yeah.
batches are a lot bigger.
I'm a go big.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Bob, what have you been up to?
Well, I got older. So there's
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
My birthday was over Labor Day weekend. Went back home, visited some family. My nieces came in to see me. I got to see all of them, which was nice. But the my oldest niece is engaged, and her fiance came down with her. Got to meet him, and
You got to
his
meet your shotgun.
no, we stopped that teasing once they're out of high school. But my middle niece has started dating, and I told her, I mean, that's fine. Like, Addie, I've told you, you can't date till you're 30. It's like,
That's
Kennedy's dating. I was like, look, I didn't have time to enforce these rules on her.
When they get out of high school, that's when it stops being teasing and it's just legitimate threats.
It's true. But they, what I did find was a little funny was as he is, they're going to get married. I was like, well, he can fit into the family because his birthday is in the right spot. My youngest niece's birthday is around, I would think it's like the 25th. I'd have to double check. But it's like hers is is like, a few days ahead of my father's birthday, who's a week ahead of mine. I had an uncle that's passed that had his birthday in the middle there. I've got another cousin that's got his birthday on the 7th. So he's literally just like doop, 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 doop. And this guy's birthday was on the 2nd. And I just went, you picked the right time to be born. Welcome to the family. You'll fit right in.
It's like you guys are all just the transition to fall. That's the family that we do here.
My family gets very bored during the winter. And around December, they've got nothing to do. And 9 months later, children come out. So but it was good to get to spend time with some of them. Casey's little experience with produce and getting a peck of stuff reminded me that they are having for my work next month. They're having an employee appreciation day, and they were getting RSVPs now because they were getting the tickets, and they're like, make sure you let us know who's wanting to come out. And they're going to some farm where you can pick your own pumpkins. And I looked at it and I went, no, I'm not doing this. And, so I just put on the RSVP thing. No. Someone asked me, they're like, oh, you going to the thing? I was like, no. They're like, well, why not? And I was like, that's chores. They're like, what? It's like, that's not fun. This is what rich white people think is fun. This is like tourism towards like manual labor. So you get to feel like you were part of something once upon. This was just what I had to do when my grandfather, called up the hill and said, we need someone to go move stuff.
Like that was just summers and weekends in Eastern Kentucky. It's like when me, mom, and Peepaw need some help out in the garden, guess what you're doing?
You're going down. I didn't do a whole lot of it when I was a kid, but I had to do some every so often, try to help when I could. And they had a sizable garden, and there was a lot of bean stringing that had to happen, and so yeah, there's like just looking down, going like, no, these are chores. Like, well, you go like ride on a tractor. That's what you ride on the way to chores. It's like, no, this is stupid. Like, I'm sure you guys will have a lovely time. I grew up with this stuff. I don't want it. But yeah, that's about all that's been going on over on my end. I believe we do have an episode to talk about.
We're not that drunk. Cheeky bastards. We're not that drunk. We're not that drunk. We're not that drunk.
It's actually very true this time.
I said,
I'm warming up.
I was like, I'm making my way down to Margaritaville.
Down drunk.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Jimmy. Real quick before we get started, when I think of Jimmy Buffett, I think of Margaritaville, and I think of which bachelor party was it where we were at Margaritaville for? Was it Chris's?
It was mine.
Yeah. So because I just remember sitting down there like, all right, this is the place.
I mean, a bunch of fat bearded guys. It's like,
Yeah.
yep, we want cheeseburgers and we want margaritas.
It was good. Got some margs. All right. So, on to the topic. History. Talking about egg drinks. The history of egg whites in cocktails is longer than you'd think. The English were toasting in the early 1800s. With an early 1800s punch called lamb's wool, which contained warm ale or mulled wine, sugar, nutmeg, eggs, toast, and crabs. Crab apples, not the other kind of crabs.
I was going to say, good Lord, the British have to be stopped.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, that's what they said during the 1800s. No one did it. Whole eggs and egg yolks have been used to create rich, decadent beverages such as the well-known seasonal eggnog and the Tom and Jerry, as well as flip-style cocktails. Flip Wilson. There's a chance eggs were used in cocktails because they both increase the richness and texture of it, and because they imparted some much-needed nutrition. But it wasn't until post-prohibition that imbibers really experienced the proliferation of egg white-laced sours and fizzes, a trend that cemented itself into cocktail culture for good. The classic egg white cocktail, the whiskey sour, first appeared in Jerry Thomas's Bartender's Guide in 1862, and was egg white, simple syrup, lemon juice, and whiskey. Notice this contains nothing of the sour mix that most whiskey sours are adulterated with these days. Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, yeah, they created a trend, and then we found a thing that didn't go bad as quickly that we could stick in a freezer and not have to deal with eggs. But I do want a good whiskey sour with some eggs. I just didn't have any in the.
oh, good, yeah.
I didn't have any eggs in the house today. I didn't want to go to. I was like, I could go to the store, or I could sit down and watch YouTube videos for a couple hours, or play Baldur's Gate 3.
To me, anything is better than going to Kroger. So, bless you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Nope, read that bit. And then there is the pisco sour, which was invented in the early 20th century. Egg whites won't impart any noticeable eggy flavor to the drink. That's why the pisco sour tastes like a tart. Doesn't taste like a tart custard. I do kind of want a tart custard though. What it will do is enrich the texture of the drink. The same reason we are able to make meringues. When you shake all the ingredients in an egg white drink, you're loosening up the egg's tight proteins, incorporating tiny bubbles, into those proteins to create a foam. Ideally, some of that foaminess is subtly integrated into the body of the drink, but you also have a nice cap of foam on top. we tend to think of eggs as a meal. I do. And I would like all the bacon and eggs that you have. And
I
I'm
want eggs
afraid
on all the burgers and
good
Yeah.
egg on a burger is always. Someone's like offers that. I'm like, yes, please. Or Hofbrauhaus, you can get your schnitzel, and they're like, would you like an egg on that? Yes, I would.
Oh,
at all times. Yes.
Yeah. You offer an egg to be added onto something. You say yes.
Mhm.
I'd take a schnitzel right now.
Oh, I could go for a schnitzel.
Ray, when someone asks if you're a god,
You say
yes.
yes. But anyway, eggs are very welcome in drinks as well. It's more likely that's how they were consumed before cooking them became common knowledge. That seems weird. This practice was likely not, while not likely lost, was not really historically discussed. Peasants during the Dark Ages may have been drinking them, but not raw. They would mix them with milk, alcohol, and other spices to make a posset. Possets were initially either used as medicine or to keep warm overnight. Over time, the upper class adopted the beverage, but used better liquor and spices. I am milk, eggs, alcohol, and spice. Well, I mean, it's just nog, I guess.
Yeah, essentially. I
Which
the very few articles I found on this, I'm like, well, I'm learning something here though.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited for Nog already because apparently the Christmas drinks are already hitting. Like there's a whole end cap at Kroger.
Kroger's just on crack. Like I don't know what they're.
There's
They've
like
had those creamers out since like last month. and I'm
there's
like,
like here's your eggnog creamers. I'm just like eggnog, yeah.
At the brewery, I've created a bastardization, and I think it's actually going to sell. It's
Of nog?
no, but it's that season creep thing.
Ah, okay.
It's a pumpkin spice seltzer.
Mm.
Okay.
No, thank you.
That's a
Yeah.
season creep. All the
Well,
the pumpkin
that's not
stuff's
as
on
creep.
shelves now.
Oh, well, so it's not about the season. It's just seasony, like just
Oh.
the seasonal beverage thing. But the
Mhm.
the oddity of it, because I don't think I've seen a pumpkin spice seltzer from anybody so far.
Well-
Braxton did one a few years ago.
Oh, really?
I do not know how it sold.
with the Waterloo multi-pack we got at Costco at the time that had the spiced apple
Oh, God,
seltzer
so
that
good.
is absolutely amazing. I'm not. Everything sounds okay. Like I'm gonna try it all. So I'm on board.
I don't know. The what was the one in the pack we just got that was just like
It wasn't as good though.
Meth. It was the meth flavored seltzer.
one that was just a straight strawberry seltzer, and it was like, no, you got to mix your strawberry with something. This is
Raw berry.
raw berry.
Get some power thirst.
All right. Well, back on topic here. Let's get eggy. As you can guess, this is a pretty rich drink. The alcohol itself was more a what is available question as opposed to a specific requirement. Sherry, also known as sack, was most common, as was beer, wine, and Madeira. With an adjustment to the recipe, it becomes a little different experience. The posset layers, with a rich foamy layer on top. Oh, that sounds with a rich foamy layer on top. Made up. I should have just kept going with that voice. Foamy layer on top, made up of the curds of the milk.
I think it ruins it when you get to curds. That never sounds like a nice word.
Oh,
Then-
but there's yeah.
Custardy layer in the middle.
Oh,
I
what's
was trying to make a
bottom?
disgusting ASMR thing there, but we've got our audio levels, so I've got to really eat the mic to do it, and it didn't work. And an alcoholic layer on the bottom. Pots were made specifically to enjoy them with a spout. And wait, pots were made specifically to enjoy them. Let that sink in.
Mhm.
With a spout that went right to the bottom layer. Yeah.
Like they say pots. I'm picturing like those water coolers like the like it's outdoor
Gatorade?
ones. Yeah, and they've just like someone down there at the bottom going just pouring it straight in their mouth.
So is
Sure.
this a posset pot?
Guess so.
You could have a bite of curd, then wash it down with a sip of alcohol.
Nope.
Oh God, no! Look, it's like 100 degrees here. This
Sounds horrible.
It was a popular dish for roughly 2 centuries, then started to fall out of favor. Could global warming have had something to do with that?
I was just going to say that they started discovering that flavors exist.
No, they're the British that
Wow.
have yet to discover that.
They
They owned all flavor. They didn't know it. They didn't know what they owned.
Oh, they knew. They just, you couldn't enjoy yourself.
You couldn't be
Not very
cutting into your own supply.
Mm-hmm.
As Posset slowly circled the drain of history. Oh, the drain of history.
This is like directly from the article, which the few articles I found, I have to mention at the end, but like they were really well written, I gotta say. Of course, VinePair was the first place. I was like, okay, of course you have an article on this.
Oh, the drain of history, constantly getting clogged with white supremacists. The eggnog began to rise, maybe because of the simplicity of the drink compared to the posset. Maybe because the odd pot did not carry well to the United States. It may also be a shifting of why people were drinking it. Posset started off as a curative, then evolved into something to drink for pleasure. Eggnog was a drink for parties at holiday times. Most bars at Christmas time would have a bowl of it warmed and ready to go, waiting for all.
I was like, oh, so Posset was Malort.
Oh, God.
Can you
A bowl
imagine?
of it warmed and waiting for all. Just
can you-
dumped straight in the toilet.
Can you imagine like some curds floating in your Malort
Mm,
that you heated up?
mm. Oh, chunky Malort, if it could get any worse.
Oh, God, don't.
we're gonna pitch this idea in Chicago.
I'm actually going to throw up.
Yeah.
It's something.
The hell's wrong with Chicago? Jesus Christ. Like the posset, the liquor that fueled the nog depended on what part of the country you were from. Same as Malort. Bourbon and rum would be popular in the South, while New England would enjoy brandy and rum.
Malort nog.
And by some reports, the longer eggnog sat, the better it became. Alton Brown has a lovely recipe for aged eggnog that calls for the concoction to sit for up to a month. Of course, Alton Brown also has the benefit of refrigeration.
Yeah, but also get ready for Malort nog.
Oh, let's just can we stop that?
Okay.
Can we just stop all Malort? Can we stop its production?
Someone has to.
All right. Well, the use of eggs in cocktails was sharply curtailed by the creation of the Food and Drug Administration. About that in 1906. As they started to dig into food safety, they saw there were some dangers in consuming raw eggs.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's how you power yourself to run up steps.
Exactly. Sylvester Stallone is wrong. I don't want to be right. Salmonella was discovered in the late 19th century.
Salmonella Fitzgerald.
Oh, and is the most common foodborne illness related to eggs. While most of the bacteria is found on the shell, it is possible for the bacteria to slide its way into the yolk. To increase the safety of eggs in your cocktails, use pasteurized eggs.
Picturing the salmonella doing the cha-cha slide into your digestive tract.
Out of.
It is estimated that your chance of getting salmonella from a raw egg is exceptionally low, but never zero. the FDA calculates that the risk of getting contaminated eggs is 1 in 40,000. Do you like those odds?
I mean, if I'm eating 40,000 eggs raw,
We, my aunt and uncle kept chickens, and we would just go out and get eggs. So that's that. When I hear that, I go, look, I've rolled that dice a lot in my childhood. They were my babysitters.
Yeah, I remember going out and clearing the mice out of the chicken coop, and
Mhm.
our
Shoot.
reward
Get you.
was getting to eat all the eggs that we could gather out of there.
The chickens were not fans of this.
Chickens didn't get a say in it.
The what was the sorry, I'm looking at the I'm wondering because this makes me remember that you know, refrigerate your eggs in America. If you're not in America, let them sit a while. You'll probably be fine. Your
Room
eggs.
fine.
Mhm.
Well, no, just mean like because your eggs will have a wax on them.
Yeah. If they're not pasteurized and like basically fresh eggs, you can just have them sit on the counter for a while.
Don't wash them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you or the bar you were drinking at is taking good care of the egg, you really don't have much to worry about. The biggest risk of illness is to the elderly or those with a compromised immune system.
Isn't it always?
I mean, that's just life.
Did you?
That's life.
So the sentence after that was like the perspective part for the statistic. I just thought that was interesting. I was like, well, I didn't realize salmonella is that rare, but it was like a perspective. Your chance of choking to death on a piece of food is 1 in 4,000,
To death. I
and
just won't eat
salmonella is
anymore.
1 in 40,000.
Not just choking, but choking to death.
It's not counting some, Dr. Heimlich coming up with his maneuvers. There's your bingo cards.
I was
Hand
like,
to fist. Hoocha, hoocha, hoocha.
Hoocha, lobster.
it's the best special ever.
Ava, I've invented a maneuver. What are you, a bloody tank general now? No, my name will be famous in restaurants. I could do
We
this.
need to check out the rights or whatever the case is for that, and like just do like a share play, whatever it's called, and just watch it as like a special thing,
Mhm.
as all together.
Ah,
So, in food, eggs have long been used as a binding agent to hold together otherwise sloppy casseroles, emulsify sauces such as hollandaise and mayonnaise, and leaven foods such as soufflés and meringues.
one egg to rule them all. One egg to find them. One egg to bring them all. And in the darkness, bind the casserole. In the casserole, bind them.
There you go. Oh, jeez.
But don't,
Okay.
just don't give Jessica White no sloppy eggs.
Casey, after you were on the trip in college up like in the choir up to the Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Where every breakfast was a casserole.
Yes.
It's why I can't
A
even
little
look.
lasagna.
I can't even look at a casserole anymore. Someone says it's like, no, please no. Anything else.
Wow. Well, when it comes to using egg whites in cocktails, the application is most similar to the souffle and meringue example. When making a French meringue, i.e., an unheated meringue, air is beaten into a mixture of egg whites, sugar, a stabilizing acid, typically cream of tartar or lemon juice, and vanilla extract to create a fluffy, voluminous foam, which is used to top pies and other desserts.
That's right. Beat those whites.
Beat them.
When air is incorporated into the protein molecules in egg whites, the proteins unwind and stretch to form an elastic web that encases the air bubbles, giving a meringue its characteristic wispy texture.
Pancakes.
More importantly, though, is how and when to mix with egg whites to ensure that you're using them safely and in the right drink formats. When making a cocktail with an egg white, a similar chemistry is at play to create the signature silky texture lent by the air whipped, as in like shaken egg whites. So this is a quote from one of the bartenders from this article that was interviewed, but egg whites add a foam texture, mouthfeel, and volume to a cocktail. They soften the edge of sour drinks and make them feel lighter. And they also make drinks look great.
Like a whiskey sour, shaken, not stirred.
In my head, I was going with. So do you shake them before or after they come out of the chicken? Do you just like start shaking? Obviously.
Is it worse or better than a shaken baby?
Good lord.
Depends. Is the
Because
egg
it's a
fertile?
pre-baby.
Is the egg? You have to check the egg if it's fertilized.
Anywho, so
also depends if the Catholic Church is involved.
You know, you never hear them talking anything about chicken eggs. That's all I'm saying.
So when mixing egg drinks at home, make sure that the egg is fresh and both your hands and the eggshell are clean. You can either quote dry shake or quote reverse dry shake.
Whoa. That was one time in college. And
yeah. It's a weird term, I gotta say. The dry shake is pretty simple. Put all the ingredients except for ice into your shaker, cover tightly, and shake like a madman to incorporate the egg white and whip it into a nice froth.
I know, like I said, no, I wish we could have had the cut. You go from that to Venture Brothers when it keeps going around and everyone's like, trying to explain to each other what a rusty venture is. They're like calling everyone. They get shore leave involved. They end up calling the Guild of Calamitous Intent, and
they never, until finally I think Rusty Venture himself is the one that has to do. Like, it's named for me. I know what it is.
Know it. That's he's appalled at this. He's like, why is this named after me? Because they're like, no, it's when you shove your bare arm all the way up a man's ass.
See, all I was thinking of is as you're doing this, you need to play Jump in the Line as you're shaking. Like, shake, 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 Sonora, shake your body line.
That is, that might be a requirement they forgot here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
just like when you make a martini, you look at a dry martini, you look at the picture of the man who invented vermouth while you stir.
Exactly.
So they've apparently been listening to that song and singing it at school because Emmett, for whatever reason, I can't remember what song it is. It doesn't even have like the same rhythm or time or anything. He just like stops in the middle of the refrain and starts singing Jump in the Line. And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? I was like, I'm okay with this, but
he just stopped, look at you, and go, jump in the line, take your body in time. Okay, I believe you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I have yet to see this actually.
Oh, it's great.
Maybe they just put on Beetlejuice for them one day.
I really hope it's that option.
Because
I don't know. He would he was okay.
He was terrified of the skeleton decorations at the craft store today.
Well, there's no skeletons in Beetlejuice that I recall.
This is if you're wondering, this is the state of the cats now. Like you cannot give them enough affection.
Okay.
Leapt into laps and are commandeering the show.
Yep. So yeah, after the froth occurs, add ice for a second round of shaking to don't eat that, to properly chill the drink.
That's what I need when I'm frothing.
Yeah. The reverse dry shake is similar, but provides for less dilution. You put all your ingredients, including the ice, but excluding the egg white, into your shaker and give it a classically vigorous cocktail shake. Then you strain out the ice and add the egg white into the shaker, shaking ridiculously vigorously to incorporate. Pour your eggy cocktail into a cocktail glass and observe the tightly knit smoothie eggy foam in all its protein-packed glory.
to prevent infection, make sure the ends of your funnels are well lubricated. Wait, what?
Indeed. So, the evolutionary curve of the egg was not intended to be a delicacy. It was intended to feed a baby animal until it had enough size and strength to break out of the protective shell. To that end, there has to be a lot of power shoved into a little package.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. There are long strands of protein tightly wound through the egg,
Yeah,
ready
there
to
is.
feed the hungry baby. That density makes the egg pretty viscous and a little off-putting to drink on its own. Fortunately for us, the bonds that keep the proteins together are not very strong. They can be broken by heating them up, whisking them, adding acid like citrus or alcohol, or shaking the hell out of it. As they unwind, they expose both water-loving hydrophilic and water-hating hydrophobic ends, creating a web that traps air in place.
Shake it like a British nanny.
Like a Polaroid
But-
picture.
That's where I was going. Hey, yeah.
I mean, that's why the good beating will make meringue, like scrambled eggs, fluffy bread. I know this is bad. Or the thick foam on top of a cocktail. So, yeah, you must be careful. Too much heat or beating the egg will tighten the web and force all the air out, eliminating the foam and making an egg you can bounce off the floor. The yolk has a neat trick that's helpful in the kitchen as well. It acts as a great emulsifier, allowing oil and water to mix. The lecithin in the yolk brings the two incompatible liquids together, allowing you to add a variety of oils into a cocktail.
I'm just picturing like putting the egg yolk in there and water and oil just go, ooh, dream weaver. I believe-" He died too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Wasn't my intent, but I remembered like a mid Dreamweaver.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. It's how it'll go from now on. It's like, oh yeah, he did.
Well, if we move on to some recipes, we can talk about the whiskey sour from Trevor Fehrenbach, featured on Modern Rogue.
I think this is when we all were like, wait, you put eggs in a whiskey sour?
Well,
Yeah, that
we
was the
saw-
one that you made, Casey, for us that time, and we were like,
Ah,
what?
We all
Made
went,
for you
What
guys. I don't think I was there.
Right? Yeah, it was us two. I forget why.
I think you were just in
Probably
town.
one of the times we went to mom and dad's or something. But
it was holidays.
Okay, yes.
And I believe Bob was still like en route or something.
that makes sense because I think we
yeah.
had hot butter brums too.
We
so-
were doing the buttered rum. We were doing the hot Christmas drink episode.
Mm.
That's right.
Makes sense.
But
Well,
yeah,
for this
delicious.
whiskey sour, you're going to start with 2 ounces of a good whiskey in a shaker tin. Pour in 3/4 of an ounce of heavy simple syrup. That's a heavy simple syrup is instead of 1-to-1, it's going to be a 2-to-1
Mhm.
ratio of sugar to water.
Mm.
Cut a lemon in half, squeeze half that lemon over the strainer into your tin. Then you're going to crack open an egg, separate out the egg whites, and then dry shake the egg whites with a lateral motion for 10 seconds. You're going to mix your alcohol and froth egg whites into your tin and then add a cup of ice. Shake vigorously for less than 10 seconds, breaking down the proteins. Pour and then garnish with a maraschino cherry, preferably Luxardo.
Yep.
Ooh, I mean, you can get some of those bourbon cherries though.
Mm. Yeah, it was pretty tasty.
Moving to a Ramos Gin Fizz. Start with 2 ounces of gin and 3 to 4 drops of orange blossom water.
I read this initially as Stamos Gin Fizz. I was like, it's like John Stamos.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Drink of choice. We're going to take 1 large egg and get the white from it. It's going to be about 1 ounce of egg white. A tablespoon of half and half, a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, a tablespoon of fresh lime juice, that's your lemon lime, and simple syrup, lemon lime simple syrup. That's your sweet and sour mix right there.
Mhm.
Cup of ice, 2 tablespoons of soda water, and then your glass is going to be a tall rocks glass or a highball, and no garnish No additional ice other than what you're using there.
I respect the hell out of any drink that says no garnish.
It's an emergency.
No, that's less than 3 ingredients. Also, it's like, oh, some fresh lemon juice, some fresh lime juice, and simple syrup. What if I just pour in a Sprite?
That's literally the thought that came into my head. Also, orange blossom water, because that's just around. Like that's just a thing that you're getting.
That I will say a Sprite was my cheat for mojitos, because I would just go like, I'm lazy. Like it was like last minute, someone's asking, I'm like in the middle of like 6 things. I just go, they're getting Sprite. There you go. Live your life.
Metal, yeah. Metal, yeah. No, nobody listen to the Mojito song.
I know the song you're talking about, but also I'm just thinking that bartenders are going to seize the means of production and throw off the muddling oppressors.
Well, if you don't want to drink that that takes a lot of fuss, then maybe the Ramos Gin Fizz will be the one that you go there. You just pour the ingredients, except for the soda water, because that's just a mess, into a mixing tin without the ice.
Done that before, by the way. It's very funny.
Shake hard for 30 seconds, then add your ice. Shake for another 30 seconds and pour into the rocks glass. Then you top it off with soda. And by pouring that soda into the tin, rinsing the tin out with the soda water, and then pouring that into the glass.
If you get a good seal on your mixing tin over your glass, and you've got like a soda water or a something in there, and you shake it like that, when you hit that edge to knock it loose, that thing goes flying.
Picture it like a champagne bottle, only instead of the cork flying, the whole champagne bottle shoots out of your hand.
It's like, oops, hoppa.
Yeah.
With our last cocktail, it's going to be the Chicago Fizz cocktail, where we take an ounce of dark rum, classic Chicago beverage, an ounce of ruby port, half ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice.
Don't
No.
even.
No.
Port is significantly better than the word.
Ain't happening. Half of ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice, a half teaspoon of superfine sugar, 1 egg white, and 3 to 5 ounces of club soda. To taste, you're going to shake everything except for
your club soda.
Everything except for your club soda again without ice. Then you're going to fill it with ice, shake vigorously for another 30 seconds, strain into a chilled Collins glass, and top with club soda. Serve and enjoy.
It actually sounds pretty. The picture looked very interesting too, but yeah, I'm intrigued by this one.
What makes the sugar super fine? Is it just very attractive? Is it dynamite?
That's it. Yeah. Also, for some reason, I saw the Collins glass and I was chilled wasn't the word. It was definitely Phil Collins glass, and I was like, that's not what that says.
It's what it is now.
Phil Collins glass.
Serve the glass, and you just go, "You'll be in my heart."
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of which, hold on.
Sparkling Muscatel, one of the finest wines of Idaho.
Would you taste it for us, please?
Excellent choice.
Should be for 95 cents.
So I gotta say,
Such joy.
Destination D23 was today, and they used the Muppet as the vehicle to announce everything. And it's just saying, they'd be like, "We're gonna hear more from the Muppets later," and I was like, "Are we announcing a new Muppets attraction?" No, it was just a big cock tease the whole time.
They're just trolling people.
Yeah, I was just like, "What the f are we even doing here?" We know the Muppets are like a crowd favorite, and we're just never gonna give you more of them in the parks. Never. And I'm just like, revamp Muppet Vision 3D, redo Rock and Roller Coaster with Electric Mayhem. Come on.
We still have to finish the rest of that series. That was really good.
We do. Sometime when our child is not conscious, because he does not care for it.
Yeah.
Does he not like the Muppets?
It's more he's still just not about the live action stuff, you know? It's all animated all the time.
We had the discussion earlier. I was like, the boys at the right age, we need to be watching Ghostbusters.
Although-
And she's like, I don't think he's gonna sit through it.
You start them with the real Ghostbusters animated. That's how I started.
I started with the Ghostbusters.
Mostly just because you needed to get like I was just saying, like for a small child at his age, it's like there's some jokes he's not going to get.
Yeah.
That's just all of it.
No, that's true.
That's
I
90s
almost-
animation. Half of it was for adults.
I almost really messed up today because the kids were outside and I had Jaws. I started to play Jaws on Netflix today, and Frank walked in right as it was getting ready to be like a bad scene. Like,
When I was
oh,
like
great.
7, it was the only time I had a birthday party where it was like a sleepover. And that's what we did was I had my dad rent Jaws and we watched Jaws.
Go into the movie rental place. Sorry, just makes me feel 1 billion years old.
That's all I did as a kid.
Yeah, I know. Same.
It's like,
We were renting.
I got kicked out of the whatever it was. It's the Save a Lot now. I don't know what it used to be, but they had a little movie rental section.
Yeah.
And I rang up a massive tab, and that was barred from ever renting movies again.
I was thinking of it was just every week it would be we'd rent a movie and we'd watch a movie and I'd rent a video game.
What was your video game of choice?
Oh, it was a different thing every week.
Oh.
I went through about every. Although that said, Toe Jam and Earl was one of my favorite rentals.
Oh yeah.
One of my
Earthworm Jim.
Oh, I owned Earthworm Jim, so that one, yeah, we ran that bad boy to death. My rental of choice was Jurassic Park for the NES.
Anyway, what have we been drinking? Not what did we rent when we were children.
Well, I'll do the anticlimactic and go first on this one because I don't even have a water in front of me right now.
Casey's
No.
dry as a
I
bone.
am dry.
Casey's
Just
saving
like-
it all for Disney.
That's right. I've gotta keep this liver fresh and healthy before we head off to Epcot and flounder around the world.
Spend some
Yeah,
money.
flounder around the world. That's the better description of it.
I didn't realize Little Mermaid had a presence at Epcot.
Oh, it does. No, never mind. That's Nemo.
Oh yeah, at the seas.
Yep. Fish.
Okay. Casey's being sober. All right. Well, over here I started with Sam Adams Oktoberfest, seasonal classic. We grabbed the fall variety pack, which is I'm going to call it a banger this year. It's not a lot of like flavored things. It's just a lot of like hardcore. You're like,
Good.
no, these hit the season.
These are
Perfect.
good. These are good beers.
There's the one pumpkin one, and then everything else is just a different,
I think there's no Boston lagers in it.
Yeah, there isn't.
That's the other thing. That's like straight, like the first pack. That's no Boston lagers. I was like,
Respect.
Yeah.
like they heard. They didn't give me the Fest beer back, which is my biggest complaint. It was like, no, you had a true Fest beer for 1 year.
I get doing I understand kind of an idea behind putting a Boston lager in there though, because if it's your go, if you want a baseline while you're trying out these other ones, it is there to give you taste comparison. However, we've all had a Boston lager.
Or 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on.
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't need the Boston lagers anymore. Take them out of the packs, Sam Adams. Anyway, start off with one of those to warm through the night, and then I think Brittany has our closer. You have the can, something Casey brought back for us forever ago.
Oh yeah.
Read it for the audio audience.
PM Dawn.
It's from
Coconut PM Dawn. I don't know if that's like different. but
A little brewery called Trillium.
yeah.
I
You
saw
may have heard of them.
I saw that flower on the on the can. I was like, ooh.
American Stout with cold brewed coffee.
And coconut.
They've got a couple of good stouts I've had from them.
This is it. Yeah.
I also love a good coconut stout.
It's
Coconut
great.
stout or a coconut porter.
Look, we were going coconut or we were going bourbon barrel aged oatmeal stout from Flying Dog, which I snagged one of the last bottles of. They had at Party Source because this was, pre-sellout. So I'm like, oh, I love Flying Dog.
It tastes. It has a toasted coconut vibe. Like I'm getting like a roasty kind of thing with the whole thing. I think like the coconut plus the cold brew. Fantastic. So it's really good.
And it should be said, this thing is not fresh, and it tastes delicious.
Well, given that it's a stout, I think they got away with it.
Fresh, this would have been flavor country because it's already flavor country, and I'm just like, oh Lord, fresh. Well, like I'll need to change my pants.
There'd been Baba Day in there. Okay. Well, I have been drinking some bourbon. I've been drinking some Evan Williams 1783.
All right.
Showed up in a box that was delivered by my roommate from someone he saw. He was visiting. No, Casey sent me up a bunch of stuff, and this was among it. And I was like, you know what? I'm breaking into some of that today. I didn't have an egg to make a proper whiskey sour. I didn't want to go to the store, so we'll at least do the whiskey part.
Nice. We were almost at that point too. Like,
yeah, Brittany was like,
that's the day that we've had.
She's got this and this, and I was like, well, how about we say screw the egg and screw the other stuff, and we just drink the bourbon.
Yeah. We're almost there.
Yeah. Well, all right. Today's episode has been written by Brittany, using sources from Why Is There an Egg in My Cocktail from Vine Pair, Why, How, and When to Use Egg in Cocktail Whites from Liquor.com, The History of Egg Cream Soda from Imbibe Magazine, The History of Egg Cocktails Unscrambled from Alcohol Professor.
Yeah. I was also like, there's an Imbibe magazine. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do we not have a subscription to this?
Hmm.
We need to remedy that.
Hey,
You do
try to
imbibe
find
that.
I wonder if it's just online now.
Probably.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like Brewbound. And hey, guess what? It's gonna be an astronomical sum.
Yeah, this is actually an art piece that you put on your table, not a magazine. They're different. But if you are into free stuff, you can subscribe and get some great resources at haveadrinkshow.com and follow us at Have a Drink Show on social media and twitch.tv/YouTube now.
/YouTube. Yeah, and you can tell us your favorite drink, ask a question, or just leave some general feedback. You can use the email address feedback@haveadrinkshow.com, or you can use the feedback page on the website. They'll be the rest of the group will be near the ocean soon, near-ish. They're going to be in Florida, so you toss your messages in a bottle, send an SOS to the world.
Send it out on SOS.
There you go.
We'll send the children out to gather the bottles.
That'll work well.
Just a reminder to please drink responsibly, everybody.
Yeah, be safe.
As always.
Yes. Well, you can check us out. Yeah, it'd definitely be another couple of weeks. I was like, wait,
It'll be a while because we're the vacation will interrupt our regular broadcast program. I think next.
Look, to be honest,
That's
by the time
true.
this gets published, it's going to be like a month after the vacation.
Whoa.
I'm just saying, like, our publication schedule is different than our record schedule.
Yes, but still, ouch. Anywho. Yeah. So, either way, check us out when this comes up. The video will probably be up sooner because I don't even know anymore what's easier and what's not. But I do want to check, besides the Patreon that we normally mention, I want to say check out haveadrinkstore.com because I realized today how many different new products that they have on the site that we use for the store. And I'm going to be making some things. So
I want the coffee, the coffee tumbler, and I want to get one that just says this line chair sucks.
There's a lot of things.
So I can just show up anywhere and just like, no, this line chair sucks.
So, once again, I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier.
I'm Christopher Walker.
And I'm Casey Price. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, you guys.
This man is asleep on me.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.